Hi everyone, welcome back to day 2 of our article on cutting a rug, tufting rugs. I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie.
And we are talking about rug tufting. So in day 1, we learned what rug tufting is and that it's a common hobby people have these days.
Yeah, and tufting's actually a traditional kind of rug production.
Yeah, exactly. I think after machines started being made and after the tufting gun was invented, people have been doing this as a hobby. Some people even sell their rugs. I saw there was actually a girl in Taiwan who sold a Pocari Sweat rug that I thought was really funny. So she literally made a bottle of Pocari Sweat into a rug.
Oh, so after we learn how to tuft,
Yeah.
we can actually make rugs and sell them.
Yeah, you could, yeah. I think they might be a little expensive because the materials are expensive, but if you get a custom handmade rug, I think that's worth it. That sounds really cool. So, yeah, we've started on the process of tufting. We loaded up the tufting gun. We started shooting yarn into the canvas. But we have to finish the rug. You're not done once you've done the yarn.
So how are we going to finish the whole process?
Well, we're going to find out today. Let's get right into it.
Reading.
Cut the rug. It's tufting time. Next, you need to fill the canvas with yarn to complete your design. Change the yarn inside the gun when you want to use a different color. Once you've filled your canvas with yarn, apply white glue to the back of the rug. Let the glue dry and cut the rug off the wooden frame. Leave about 5 centimeters of fabric around the rug, but cut off the rest. Then, apply another special fabric glue to the back of the canvas and fold the extra fabric to the back. Add an extra layer of fabric to the back. Done correctly, your rug will be strong and won't fall apart. Finally, use a pair of scissors to cut off any loose threads on the front. You can also use an electric shaver to trim the top side of the rug and make everything even. Tufting is fun, but can be tough for beginners. Learning to grasp and move the gun smoothly takes practice. Don't be upset if your first rug looks a little rough around the edges. Keep trying, and you'll be tufting like a pro in no time.
All right, we are continuing right on with tufting our rug. What it says is, next, you need to fill the canvas with yarn to complete your design. So fill the canvas with yarn. When you fill something with something else, it means you put that thing in until the first thing can't hold anymore. So if you fill up the canvas with yarn, it means you have no space left. Which is how you want to make a rug. You don't want the bottom fabric to stick out in any places. You want it to be smooth. You want it to be all soft on the top. So, yeah, make sure you fill it up.
Fill A with B 代表就是用 B 这个东西去填满充满 A 这个容器哦。所以呢，简单的例句我们可以说 Please fill this bottle with hot water for me. 那就是拜托帮我把这个瓶子装满热水。所以课文说到呢 next 接下来你需要将整张画布填满纱线。
So we are going to fill up the canvas with yarn and then, of course, change the yarn inside the gun when you want to use a different color. Yeah, just like when you want to use a different color thread, you have to change it in the sewing machine.
OK, 所以如果你想换颜色的话也是可以的，那就更换簇绒枪里面的毛线就好。
I think of that bottle of Pocari Sweat. I think you only need 2 colors, blue and white.
Blue and white.
Yeah. So, yeah, once you've filled your canvas with yarn, apply white glue to the back of the rug. That kind of school glue, the glue you use in school when you're a kid to glue paper together. White glue. That's enough to keep the yarn from moving.
是的 white glue 就是看它字面的意思，就是白胶。好，小学的时候都会很常使用白胶在美术课。那这边说到呢，你将整张画布填满毛线之后，就要在地毯的背面 涂上白胶，这里的涂上我们用的是 apply 这个动词。
Okay, the article next says, let the glue dry and cut the rug off the wooden frame. Cut something off. This means you use scissors or a knife or something else like that, something sharp, to cut something until you can pull it off the thing that it was attached to. So you cut the rug off means you cut it until it's not attached to the wooden frame anymore. Probably you use a very sharp knife for this.Cut
something off 代表是将点点点切除啦、割掉、剪掉、砍断都可以。那这边在讲的就是你等到白胶干了以后，你要将地毯从木框上裁下来。
So cut something off. Probably you will have to use a box cutter or an X-Acto knife. I don't know. There's
or
probably
a big pair of scissors.
Well, how would you get the scissors into the canvas? You have to stab them through. That's the problem. I always think of like trying to cut paper and not leave a scissors mark. It's a little bit hard. But anyway, that's not the end. Once you cut it off, you're not done. Leave about 5 centimeters of fabric around the rug, but cut off the rest.
边边记得留下5公分。
And why do you need this? Because you have to seal it up. Then apply another special fabric glue to the back of the canvas and fold the extra fabric to the back. Okay, so now we're using fabric glue, which is very important for keeping clothes together or keeping cloth together. So you're folding the extra fabric. That means you bend it over another part. So basically you are bending it until it touches itself on the back of the rug, and you have fabric glue there, and you're going to stick it to itself. So you can also fold other things like, I think people usually fold paper. If you think about the Japanese paper folding art, it's called origami, and you can make beautiful things like birds and hats and frogs and all kinds of things out of paper when you fold it in a beautiful way. For example, I folded this paper in a special way to turn it into a bird.Fold
这个动词呢，就是折叠或是对折。所以第一个 first we use white glue, then we use a special kind of fabric glue.
That's right.
And then we need to fold it.
Yeah, you have to fold it onto itself so that you stick it to itself and then it won't come apart.
Right, fold the extra part to the back.
That's right.
And then what do we do?
And then add an extra layer of fabric to the back.To the entire back. So you cover the whole back of the rug with this extra piece of fabric. It's an extra layer. Now, a layer is a covering piece of material, or it's a part that goes under or over another thing. So like, for example, you can think of onions. They have a lot of layers. Cakes have layers, usually 2 or 3 or maybe even more. So,Layers are what sit on top of each other or under each other. And this fabric sits under the rest of the rug. It's going to be glued to the rest of it. And so, yeah.
Layer 这个名词代表是层，所以像是洋葱有很多层，然后呢，蛋糕也可能有很多层。这里的 layer 指的是你要再 add one more layer, right? To the back of the
rug.
Rug.
Yes.
你要再加另外一层到后面去。For what?Done
correctly, your rug will be strong and won't fall apart. You don't want it to fall apart. Yeah, so fall apart is something you don't want to happen to things you make. When it falls apart, it breaks into pieces, usually unexpectedly, suddenly. It gets into a bad condition. Like if you say that your car is falling apart, it means it's not in a good state. Maybe you're missing some parts. Maybe the door fell off or something.Fall
apart 代表是散开或是解体，所以如果呢你加上了这一层，然后呢又做适当的调整之后呢，你的地毯就会变得非常的坚固，然后 it won't fall apart。那在这个句子当中呢，我们看到了分词构句，也就是我们今天 language in focus 的重点。这个句型是由2个主词相同的句子合并而来的分词构句，重点是要将连接词带领的句子简化。避免主词重复叙述哦。以下我们就用课文里面的句子来当做范例哦。那第一个步骤呢，我们要先判断连接词所引导的子句当中的主词与主要子句的主词是否相同。如果相同，我们就要删去连接词子句的主词，避免重复叙述。 所以课文原句如果全部都写出来不做省略的话，会是这样的一个句子 If your rug is done correctly, your rug will be strong and won't fall apart. 那我们前后主词都是 your rug， 那都一样，确认之后呢，我们就可以省略连接词子句的主词。那再来就到了第二个步骤，将连接词子句中的动词要改为分词。如果是主动的话呢，我们就用现在分词，也就是 VING。如果是被动的话，我们就用过去分词，也就是 VPP。那如果它的动词呢有 be 动词出现，我们可以直接将 be 动词省略掉。那这个时候呢，表示时态的助动词也可以一并省略哦。省略后的句子就会变成 If done correctly, your rug will be strong and won't fall apart. 那再来就到了第三个步骤，连接词你可以斟酌省略，如果省略之后呢会影响句意，你就必须要把它保留哦。那全部都做完之后呢，3个步骤结束后，你会看到这样子的句子，就是课文里面的 Done correctly, your rug will be strong and won't fall apart. 那另外再给同学们一个例句 For example, Not knowing what to do, my sister came to me for advice. 这个就是一个将主动动词改为现在分词的分词构句。
All right, so now we've learned about how things are done correctly. So we have all the parts of our rug. We have gotten the glue on the back. We got the extra layer of fabric. And finally, use a pair of scissors to cut off any loose threads on the front. So scissors, of course, we all have probably a few pairs of these. Scissors are a tool for cutting paper, cloth. They have 2 blades that are together in the middle so that the sharp edges slide against one another. So yes, those are scissors, and you probably use them on various different things. They're very easy to use. So one example is Esther's fabric scissors are very sharp, so they cut through cloth very easily. I've heard that people who have fabric scissors are very
dangerous,
possessive of them, because if anybody uses fabric scissors on paper, they will get dull, which is not sharp, and the people who use them for sewing will get very mad.
Oh, so don't mess with their scissors.
Don't mess with fabric scissors. Only use paper scissors for paper, okay?
Scissors 就是剪刀啦，那会是复数形，因为剪刀有2个刀片哦。那一把剪刀我们就用 a pair of scissors.
Oh, that's right. They are never singular. You always say scissors, never a scissor.
That's right. 那再来就是 loose 这个形容词是松的，这边指的是未知牢的状况。那我们看到的 thread 第一天我们学的是动词，这里就是名词，也就是线。所以课文说到最后你要用剪刀剪掉正面未知牢的线 cut, cut, cut.
So the article goes on to say, you can also use an electric shaver to trim the top side of the rug and make everything even. I think I have one of these. It's for shaving fabric. Like usually when you have some kinds of fabric, they get little balls of stuff on the top of them after a while. You can use a fabric shaver to make them smooth again. So an electric shaver. Electric means operated by electricity. That means it's using power from either your home or from a battery to power itself and make a machine go, usually. Lots of machines are electric. Lots of pieces of technology are electric. Usually, even your phone and your computer, you could say they're electric because they need to be powered by a battery, which is powered by the electricity in your house. For another example, this car is electric, so it doesn't need any gas to move. And what kind of electric machine are we using here? A shaver. A shaver is a tool that you use to shave things, usually hair or usually maybe fur from dogs. Like if people need to get rid of any hair, they will use a shaver. That's an electric one. It's different from a razor. A razor is just that kind of little knife that you use to shave your body hair. But a shaver is an electric one. So you can use it you can buy a special one for fabrics that will help you to get the fabric all smooth and even. And you trim it. You use a shaver to trim. That means you remove something by cutting it, or you make something neat by cutting it.
Electric 这个形容词代表就是电动的或是用电的，用到 electricity 用到电力的东西。那再来这边它形容的是 shaver 这个字，代表的是剃毛器。 那你用这个电动剃毛器要干嘛呢？ To trim the top side of the rug. Trim 这个动词是修剪，像是我们可以 trim our hair, 修剪我们的头发。那这里在修剪的就是多出来的那一些。
Okay, so that's the end of tufting your rug. Because now that it's all neat and even and all put together, you've got a rug. You could use it yourself, you could sell it. It should be really great. Tufting is fun, but can be tough for beginners. Learning to grasp and move the gun smoothly takes practice. Of course, just like learning to paint takes practice, of course, you're basically painting with yarn. So it takes some time to learn. It can be tough. When something is tough, that means it's very difficult to do or difficult to deal with. Like if you have a tough life, it might mean your life is pretty hard. Like you go through a lot of hard times. Maybe you don't have much money. Or if an exam is tough, you could say that this exam was really tough. I really had a hard time, and you might find that you had to study a lot.
What about a person is tough?
A person who's tough, that's a different meaning. If a person is tough, that means they can endure, they can go through a lot, and they will come out being like, yeah, I did it. So if you're tough, if as a person, it means that you can go through a lot of hard stuff and you'll be fine.
What about a person that is tough to deal with?
Oh, tough to deal with. That means maybe they're very, to use the Chinese word, 白目.
很白目，很难搞.
Yeah, 难搞, yeah. So if you are tough to deal with, don't be tough to deal with, but do be tough. So,
right.
Yeah, this time we're talking about tough as in hard, though, being difficult. So, for example, you could say, that race was tough. I was tired for days after finishing it.
Tough 这个形容词就是困难的、艰难的哈。那在课文当中，你还可以用 hard 或是 difficult 来代换。所以这边讲到呢，簇绒虽然好玩，但是对 beginners， 也就是初学者来说，算是困难的。
So it's kind of tough to do. You have to grasp it really hard, and you have to move it smoothly. To grasp something means to take and hold it with your hands or with your fingers. So usually you grasp a pencil. Like when you are trying to take notes, or a pen. You are probably grasping a pencil or pen right now to take notes on this lesson. Or you might be grasping your keys when you leave the house. Something like that. People are often grasping their cell phones in public. But you also grasp things with your hands that are kind of hard to hold, like a tufting gun. So for example, you could say, Teresa grasped a weight in each hand and started to work out her arms.
Grasp 这个动词呢，代表抓住或是抓紧，所以课文说到呢，要抓住并流畅的移动簇绒枪是需要练习的。
Right. So make sure you are grasping it tightly and that you can move it smoothly, and that takes practice. So the article says, don't be upset if your first rug looks a little rough around the edges. When you say something is rough around the edges, it means it's not perfect. It has some flaws or some mistakes, usually because it's a beginner project. You can also say this about people who are beginners at something. Like if you have, somebody who's learning to sing, you could say like, you're a little rough around the edges, but you will get there. You can work this out, become better. So yeah, don't be upset. To be upset means to be angry or unhappy. When people get upset, often they will yell, or they might cry, or just not talk, or something like that. When you're upset, you don't feel good. Something has made you unhappy. So for example, Nathan was really upset when his mother refused to eat the meal he'd made for her.
Upset 这个形容词呢，代表的是沮丧的、难过的或是烦恼的。那再来呢 Kat 有提到的 rough around the edges， 那就是不精致的，好，或是初学需要改善。再给同学们一个例句哦。His driving is rough around the edges. Maybe he needs to practice. 代表他的开车技术有待加强，他还需要练习。
So anyway, yeah, his driving is rough around the edges. Sounds like he's a little scary to drive with. But yeah, anytime you are a beginner at something, it's probably going to be at least a little bit bad. It's not a big deal. Keep trying and you'll be tufting like a pro in no time. A pro. Like a pro means you are like a professional. A professional is somebody who's very good at something or they're formally trained in it. So Elsie is a professional gym coach, right?
Thank you so much.
You have a certification. You are
but
a
I haven't
professional.
started it.
But you can still do it. You can do it. You'll get there in no time.
We'll see.
In no time. Like in our sentence, it means very soon or very quickly. So, yeah, anytime that you are starting something new, it's gonna be a little rough.
Yes, 那 pro 代表就是专业人士、行家，也就是我们说的 professional。它也可以当形容词用啊，代表专业的、职业的。那 in no time 代表的是马上、立刻。So for example, I was well prepared for the exam, so I finished it in no time. 代表我马上就写完了，因为我早就准备好。Okay, so keep trying, you'll become a pro in no time.
That's right. So if you're interested in rug tufting after this article, go look it up. Give it a try. Yeah. I think it'd be really fun to try out. I would like to find a workshop on it. And so that's the end of our article. Let's go ahead and go to our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, our For You chat question for today. Would you like to try rug tufting? Do you think you'd enjoy it? Why or why not?
I would like to give it a try.
Yeah?
But I don't think I'll be good at it.
I mean, I probably won't either, and I'm an artist.
Yeah, so it might be tough for me in
Yeah.
the beginning, but I'll practice and maybe I'll be better.
Yeah. Hey, maybe if we do it together, we can have a better result because I am creative and I know how to use art tools, and you are physically strong. So you
I can hold the gun.
You can hold the gun. I will guide the gun. I will make it go on the right path.
Okay,
So let's do it together.
So you just need my hand
That's
to hold
right.
the gun.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, cool. Yeah. Maybe I'm not sure if you can actually tuft with a friend. Maybe you guys can work on your own
I
rugs.
think you can.
Maybe.
If you go there with your friends or your family, you can still spend time with them.
Yeah, exactly. And you can each make your own rug. You can make a small rug. You could make a big rug. It would probably take a long time.
And you can bring it home.
That's right. And then you can lay on it and be like, I made this and it's so comfy. So anyway, that's all we've got for today. For English For You, I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Fold. Harvey folded the newspaper so it would fit into his backpack. Scissors. Sarah loved the picture in the magazine, so she cut it out with scissors. Electric. Jack bought an electric car because it's cheaper to run than a gas car. Tough. Mark was in a tough situation at school. Other kids often laughed at him because he was short. Grasp. The mother grasped her young son's hand to stop him from running around in the store. Upset. Alice was happy to take the puppy home, but she became upset when it started eating her shoes.
智慧小补帖
Layer. Shaver. Trim. Pro.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net